I did it, 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 did it. I made my selection and purchased my first mid-tier luxury watch. It should be clear from the title of this video that the watch I chose is the Tudor Black Bay 58. Stay tuned to hear why I selected this watch and my initial thoughts during the honeymoon period. And be sure to stay through to the end to hear my ideas for my next adventure. Welcome to Adventures with Time. I'm your host, Bob, and this is a special episode, at least special to me. I've been collecting watches for just over 2 years now, and a couple of months back, I decided to up my game and obtain what I call a mid-tier luxury watch. If you haven't been following this search of mine, I'll leave a link up here to the playlist of these episodes so you can trace my path towards selecting a watch. Now let's review the goal I set out to achieve. Up to this point, I have been obtaining watches mostly in the affordable price range, under $1,000. The only exception is my purchase of the Sin 104. Now I feel that I've been in this hobby for sufficient time to know enough about what I like and have enough knowledge to up my game to a more expensive watch. I'll leave a link up here to the first of these videos where you can see my somewhat arbitrary definition of mid-tier luxury watches. I've also come to understand the aspects of the watch hobby that I enjoy. I'll leave a link to that video also, as I think it nicely defines where I'm heading in collecting both affordable and luxury watches, at least for now. So this search has taken me a couple of months. I didn't want to rush into a purchase. This price range is a new area for me. So during that time, I've investigated different brands by going to brand boutiques, ADs, and any watch dealer I could find. Of course, I didn't perform an exhaustive search by any respect. And I'm sure there are some that will think I skipped specific brands of importance or dismiss watch models that would have been appropriate. But we all need to follow our own likes, whether these turn out to be mistakes or in the end being long-lasting acquisitions. I was seriously considering Omega, as you might expect, either a Seamaster or a Speedmaster. I also really liked the Grand Seiko limited edition red dial watch, part of their seasons theme, but I couldn't convince myself to pull the trigger on a $7,000 watch under the Seiko brand. I saw some nice models from IWC and Tag Heuer that I liked, and tried on many other brands, even some that are way out of the price range that I'm considering. I especially wanted to see if a Rolex was something I wanted and could obtain. The Explorer 2 is a watch I really like. I gave great consideration to the 5-digit reference 16570, of course as a pre-owned watch, but I felt I needed to try the current slightly larger 6-digit reference 216570 to see if I liked it better and if it was a better fit for my wrist. As you can expect, I could not find any even to try on. So I'm leaving Rolex for a potential future purchase. The watch I really liked was the Tudor Black Bay. I tried it on in several local ADs, but I found this watch a bit chunky, in that it is relatively thick. It comes in at over 14 millimeters thick. So when I realized that essentially the same watch comes in a slimmer model, I had to try the Black Bay 58. Here again, it was hard to find. None of my local ADs, even those in New York City, had one in stock. I gave my name to 2 of these ADs and impressed upon them my great interest in this watch. It didn't take long for one of them to call me and let me know that they had just received one in stock and it was mine if I wanted it. That's great. I went over to the AD the next day, tried on the watch, and purchased it. Yes, at full retail plus sales tax. So let's take a look at the Black Bay 58 I purchased and my initial impressions and what enticed me to select this as my first mid-tier luxury watch. So let's open this up and see what we have. So this watch was already sized for me. I did have one link taken out. And of course we have the tag. And under the watch we have all the paperwork, warranty card, model, serial, model again, color. So you'll excuse me as I, off camera, take all the protective coating off the watch. Be back in a sec. You may have seen some other videos or researched the Black Bay 58, but let me give you a quick overview of its features and its specifications. It's listed as a 39 millimeter watch. I measure it slightly bigger at 39.3 millimeters. 42 millimeters including the crown, so that's at its widest position. Lug to lug, it comes in at 47.5 millimeters. And the lug width is 20 millimeters. If you remember, one of the reasons I selected this watch is because of its low profile. That is, it comes in at a thickness of just 12 millimeters, 12.2 millimeters to be exact, with that slightly domed or boxed sapphire crystal. With this stainless steel bracelet, it comes in just above 140 grams. And the bracelet does taper, starting out at 19.5 millimeters at the lugs and ending up around 16 millimeters at the clasp. It employs a familiar double latch clasp. And when opened up, you see this nice milled set of components with Tudor etched into one of the pieces. Very nice touch. One of the nice little details I noticed is on that first latch, the little one, you see that raised polish piece. Well, when you open that first latch, that piece becomes a lifting point for the major latch. Very nice little aspect of that clasp. And one thing people I've noticed complained about is the rivet style of the bracelet. There are these faux rivets along the side of the bracelet to connect the links, with only some of the links having the screw for replacing or removing the actual links. A feature that some people seem to not like. I haven't found it something I mind at this point. Moving on to the case back, it's a fairly plain case back, screw down, with just some basic information about the watch, and of course the serial number. The sides are highly polished, with a nice signed crown, with what looks like to me to be a flower bud, similar to the previous logos that Tudor used. Of course, the watch has a crown, two positions, one for winding and one for setting the time, and of course it hacks. Let me move the hands away so we can see some of the writing on the dial. Of course, you have the Tudor logo, and then down below you have the specifications of the watch, being a 200-meter diver, chronometer certified, and of course Swiss made down there. It has a 60-click unidirectional bezel, which runs very smoothly to my touch and fairly secure once it locks into one of the positions. The case uses a combination of polished and matte finishes. The sides are all polished with a nice little bevel that is also polished, transitioning up to the case top, which has a matte finish consistent with the bracelet. Of course, the bracelet has polished sides. So that theme of polished sides and matte top runs consistently between the case and the bracelet. Inside the Black Bay 58 is a new in-house movement from Tudor, the MT5402. This movement supports a 70-hour power reserve and contains a non-magnetic balance spring and a free-sprung balance wheel. And of course is COSC certified, which means it's expected to run at between -4 and +6 seconds a day. I haven't had my watch long enough to see how it performs, but be assured I'll get back to you with those details. And finally, that dial. One of the things I really liked about this watch was the color scheme on the dial. A flat black background, including on the bezel, with gold printing and gold trim around each of the hour indices. Makes the watch, in my opinion, really stand out and look very elegant. Of course, the watch has the signature Tudor snowflake hands for both the hour hand and the second hand. And the hands match the hour indices in that they have gold trim. Now, I've only had this watch for a week, and I babied it a little over that time. We've had some nasty weather here in New Jersey, some freezing rain and snow. Not something into which I'm comfortable taking a brand new watch of this caliber. So I'm still in that honeymoon period, but I think this is going to be a great addition to my collection. I'd like to hear from those of you Black Bay 58 owners how you felt about this watch over time. I certainly plan to provide an update to you as time goes on, so look for that. But now that this search is done, it's time to start planning my next. After all, just like vacations, once you finish one, the fun of planning your next starts. I'm still trying to determine if a Rolex is in my future. So I'll keep searching for some of the new models to try out on my wrist. And I have my eye on a few new affordable models, the other half of my collecting interests. But before any of these adventures, I want to tell you about a strange and different watch I encountered. So look for that also. I do need to take stock of my current collection to determine if any watch has lost its appeal to me. I'll do that over the next few weeks as I create the proverbial State of My Watch Collection video. I'd appreciate when that drops that you provide me with your input on any trimming of my collection that I'm considering. So again, if you haven't already, please subscribe to this channel and ring that bell icon so that you are alerted when these videos drop. As always, thanks for watching, thanks for commenting, and see you in the next video.